Hi class, this is your video feedback for your submission this week. And I do want to touch on a couple of things that are just across the board for everybody so that I won't go through and point it out every time. And that is, make sure that your copyright date is up to date, that your name is up to date, all those things in the copyright footer are updated. All right, so if you're using a template, make sure that's not there anymore. And those are the things that you want for sure. All right, so I'm going to jump right in. I have looked at this one already. Went over this with George last night a little bit, but I want to, you can see how this goes through too. The footer is down here as it should be, the bottom updated, and a simple about. It's got a great image in the background that doesn't compete with any of the content. We talked about various ways to, adjust if he needed to, but this, and he'll also be producing a portfolio site. This is for a particular movie to be launched. So I'm going to move on to the next one, and that's Ashley. To me, this looks like it's just pasted on like a cutout, and that maybe that background could be removed. I don't know right away. I know because I've glanced at this, but I don't know right away what this is that you do. And so that's where you want to really be clear, is what your service is for sure, right? Okay. I do like that you have processes. Sometimes that can be just where you have a campaign and you show your thoughts and the way that you work, your workflow, and the finished campaign project. That can be a really nice way to do things. Let's left align this, and everybody go through and use a spelling tool like Chrome has language tool, which is really good, and make sure that everything is right on that. These are a little close together. I think maybe just a little bit of kerning, a little more space between your characters would be great. This works okay here. Typically, everyone try to avoid vertical text. It doesn't usually work. It's okay here. It's clear. We don't have a lot that it's competing with. It's a great shot. Here is where we have your service, but we don't get that until we've scrolled down quite a ways. You describe some of the things you do here, but media and marketing, is what you want to put up here, right? So people know. Could be large across here, because this isn't telling your reader, your user, your client what it is you do yet, and most will not keep looking. Okay. All right. Okay. This is great compositions and colors, a little blown out here. Probably could darken just that area a little bit to get a little more detail. Okay. All right. Colors are nice. And your Facebook is, I'm not sure it's linking up to yours. Yes, it is. Okay, make sure that this is your professional site, that this talks about collaborative, all right? You would have a separate site for anything personal, and carry your branding over. You might consider putting some of this color in your brand, either a thicker circle that is in, this tan might help. This is a little hard to read, and it would be especially difficult on the mobile site. Okay. I prefer not to have to go back and then click to a page. I would rather have it somewhere where they can get to it. There's just quite a bit of clicking, but it is organized and you do have everything aligned, and so somebody might spend a little more time, looking for things if it's in order. Okay, you might need a little something here. Otherwise, there's really too much white space that requires us to scroll. Not that much content. Try not to have one word on a line. It could be the way it's reflowing. I'm very fascinated by this. And yes, it takes me to the cover. I wonder if I am here. Okay, so this is contact, and you want to relabel this page contact for sure. Okay, and if I click this, ordinarily this will take me to the home page, so you might want to do that. All right. You could also find a way to center this and put some navigation. You don't need a lot of pages. All right, great start. Okay, I want to be able to click these. These are great little icons. Okay, they work well together. The color is tying together. I just feel like I should be able to click on them. Okay, this should take me to the web design page, graphics, and branding. And I have looked through this. I love the way you've laid it out and talked about what your role was or what you used to create them. Perfect. Looks like maybe you did the logo challenge. I recommend that for everybody who is in graphic design, that they, I think his name is, I know his last name is Harris. It might be Robert Harris. And you can go through and participate in the logo challenge. And maybe you too will be able to create some fine things, and it's a great practice for everybody. So I feel like this should be okay. So hopefully this is nice and clean, and hopefully what happens is, okay, so, okay, I can do this. And remember, I'm looking at this as a user for the first time. I may have looked at the work before, but that's not what I'm doing. I think we need a little space here to bring this up. This is a little, to land on this page is a little unclear because of this. We can get straight into your contact. Not a big deal. A blog, okay, good. If anyone has a blog and it doesn't have content, that it only has placeholder text or placeholder images, then that needs to be disabled. Okay, branding, graphics, design. We saw, and home. Okay, so if this is going to be your logo, I think, and this is great, beautiful. Yeah, I think we just need to, yeah, bring that up a little bit, like reduce down just a little so it slides down here and is all on the page there. Beautiful photo, works with your coloring and all of this. So I think maybe on your social media you can use the heart B thing. Okay. All right, so just a couple of things, a couple of minor things. It's looking great. Can't wait to see where this is going and to look closer at the mobile. Make sure that these are heavy enough to read and that this is large enough to read. You might want to, use this again somewhere, maybe small, so that they can click on it and go home. I bet that does that. You might even put a small, put this small right here or here. That could be nice. All right, great job. Okay, Brew Bandit. I was interested in this logo when you did it. It's hard to really pull off a logo that has that much intricacy and being able to reduce it. So I was really anxious to see that. But I like the name. everything. You're picking up the colors. That's good. All right. I kind of want to see a little more of this, but of this over here. Not so sure, but all right. So where is your portfolio? Is this your demo reel? I have some questions. So I see 2 movies. I see content creator, but I only see 2 movies, so I need a little more about that. And I need an about section, I think. Right? So a little bit more content. Introduce us to who, Brew Bandit is. Okay? All right. Great start. Okay. Okay. Kind of want to get into this a little quicker. I'm not a big fan of these little animations because they just take up a little time, and I kind of want to get here and see what's here. Okay, interesting photos that are aligned, and that's good. I'm interested in the classes you've brought up. I like that. Try and have these more aligned, like add another row here. You could take one out here. A little bit of white space that I think we can close up. Nice coloring. It works. I'm tempted to try and see what this color looks like as opposed to this orange just because of the coloring here, but it works. Update this. I don't want to point that out to people. And all right. Well, no, this seems a little crowded. I guess I'd like to see like one photo that comes all the way across and then one like this rather than thirds, and this being cut off a little bit. I don't know. That's up to you. Try to find other solutions besides outlines on text. Okay. Classes, what we do. Okay. Classes, and then this, film crews, and what we do. That goes there. Okay, that goes to classes. I think that should be changed to classes. Decide whether you really need that. Okay. All right. Just a little bit of white space in places, right? Things like that. A little bit of cleanup. But I like it. Looks good. I like the concept. Nice work. Okay. Let's try not to use this font because of the way it has the extrapolation. Doesn't really work. So take that off. Okay. Make sure that these clear the shape and that all the shapes are the same. So what you do is you take your longest word, you create a shape for it, and all the others have to have that same shape. Okay, but allow padding around it. Make sure that this is working. If I want to check things on various browsers. Okay, so on this situation, it's overlapping. Take this off. This will be your professional portfolio, so it's not a student project. A little spacing here. Left align this. If you can get this up on that line, that's better than having it by itself. Okay. Put a border behind this so that it's not overlapping anything. All right, so you can fix it. It's as you have it frozen, but also give it a banner underneath it so that it isn't overlapping anything. Okay. This, no placeholder text. Whatever you do, make sure that it happens the same way. Like, this would be better if it didn't come so far across. All right. So alignment is very important. Okay, you need to I know why you're saying it's a student project at this point. Update this. Just put 3 people and actually use people that you would work with. Okay. Okay, so you definitely want to say what you do up here right away. People need to know that right away. Put your own work in here or take that out. This is your portfolio, your professional portfolio. Okay, so you can just take all these out. If you don't have enough, clients at this time in your career, that's okay. Just leave that off. Okay, so as you go through, you'll see what the goals are for your site. And this will go to a Facebook. If you don't have social media, it's time to create it. And you would use your logos, okay, your logo on your social media. Okay, busy. It's very busy. We've got, try not to tile images. It doesn't usually work. Be careful of any kind of headers that overlap, are not hard to read. Make sure, one of the things that we always talk about is that everything is aligned. So jumping back and forth like this doesn't work as well as having 2 side by side and having less scrolling, or having them aligned left, and in the right having a small paragraph that tells us what your role is in that project. Very important. I think we talked about this logo before. Simpler is better. Got to simplify. That will help you a lot. Let's see. Try to align your text. All right. Yeah, so this is better. And then a third one here, right? And you might, yeah. Okay, so I question the home, whether it needs to be like this. It really doesn't look like a home page. So look at home pages and see how you can do that. But alignment is always more professional. Okay, this looks like it's cut and paste and a picture of words, so it's not searchable. Nobody can find it. Okay, good. You align that. Black. Okay. those of you who are photographers, keep in mind that because you are selling yourselves sometimes as a cinematographer or videographer, everything on your site should be yours. Okay, you wouldn't use somebody else's photographs. If you are in audio or something, then nobody expects you to be necessarily photoing your own studio, and so that would be okay. But if you are a videographer, then all your work needs to be yours. Okay? Go through all your student work, see what you can find. Everything that you do from here on should be sharp, in focus, and have good composition, okay, and lighting. Sharp is similar to in focus. So be sure you do all those things. Just simplify, simplify, simplify. All right? Smokin' has a apostrophe if it matters. All right, good start. All right, Alexander. Okay. So it's possible when I click on this, two things are happening. Either it's not clicking to a page, it's not linked up, or the page has a lot of heavy content on it and it hasn't loaded yet. Okay. Okay, so it seems to have been that it's not linked. These are aligned. Okay, see this? These are the things you got to look at. This you would probably bring up to here. This has got to come in here if you're going to do it like that. Okay, this needs to be in here, not cut off. It needs to have, and that's even if you guys have a thumbnail and you click on it, it opens up. The thumbnail still needs to have padding all the way around it. Okay. So try and make these align at the bottom. This would need to be sharper. Better if you use an example of something you've done. Good. Make sure these are your pro sites. Okay. What I want you to do, Alex, is change up this particular template. Okay, so you can either start a new one, or that is for a cinematographer, or you can take this one, change the background to black, change these to a grayscale with maybe one color, one shade, but that's going to show your work better. All right, and if you don't have a lot on your skill set, you can just put your education. It doesn't even have to have images. You can put this information and then your education, and eventually you'll have a client list that you put there as well, okay, and your skill set. So this might not be working for you. All right, but it's a great start. Just think about simplifying the colors and streamlining it, making it look a little more serious. And I know it's the template, but that one needs to be adjusted, that particular template. Okay, this is a little tough to read, but this is all working really well. Make sure you use photos that belong to you. Maybe this needs to be, you know, this color. If you're saying you're just a critic and not a necessarily film cinematographer, you can use, you know, images that are copyright free that you didn't create. This looks like it's kind of forced on to squeeze into this space. This one needs to be optimized if you're going to use it because it's popping in late. This is very clear. You might have to get rid of Canon for copyright issues if you remember from your art design and location shooting class and intellectual property. Are you using the same font throughout? I feel like we just changed. We've got quite a few fonts here. blog might go down here and shorten this so we can get into, this looks slightly bigger, a point bigger, so bring this up. We want to get into this quicker. Okay. Carry this aesthetic through though. Less space here, bring this up. Try and get that to where there's not a word on the bottom. If you want something evergreen, you can take dates out. I recommend that for your blog, unless you're posting every day, which most people aren't. But so be consistent with your font. Okay, so you are here. Hard to read, right? So, and optimize this so it doesn't pop on slowly. Now for you, it will be there because it's already in your cache. It's not going to, you know, load slowly. But for somebody who's first visiting your site, those images aren't going to be there and they're going to load slowly. Okay, so carry the aesthetic. Okay, this blue, and these probably need to be either all caps or they need to be bolded or something. Hard to read, okay, especially if you get to a mobile. Great start. All right. So we talked about creating this in Illustrator. I like this color. And what we want to see, try putting this in white instead of outlining it. And if this is your video, awesome. If not, we need to take it out. Okay. I hope that it is because the color looks great. Great coloring. This doesn't actually pick up your coloring. You could fix that by putting a color in here, the circle, either the light, this green blue, or one of these sand colors. And then you would keep your aesthetic forever. All right. Okay. Okay. Take this out, disable it because it's not updated. Now let's see, you're saying, yeah, you need to disable that. Okay, so we've kind of changed the aesthetic and gone to black and white. That would be okay, but it's, you know, not necessarily blending in. You could still put the color back here, maybe with white text, depending on how dark the color is, and that might be enough to pull this through. But think about your home page. You want to carry through that style. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay, try not to have one word here, but otherwise I love this look. Okay, I love the look. Okay, good job. All right, Ben. Interesting. You guys always try and get the catch light. This hair is an opportunity to get something really sharp and interesting. You know, if you can get the hands and the face to work for you, then that's a good photo. Okay, nice. I like that you have your roll there. Okay, what it is and your roll. Okay, put that C in there. Okay, nice. Everything's aligned. I like it. You know exactly what you do, and you love storytelling. Okay. Okay. All right. So sometimes people can't combine what they do with their wedding work, but it looks like you're able to. All right. So I felt like you had this already. I felt like you already had an about me. This is sort of your about me. This is also, no, that's your service. This is centered. I'm not sure it is everywhere. Okay, so be sure to put things in here or disable it in the meantime. And a copyright date at the bottom. All right. Good work. Well done. All right, I've looked through this and it's laid out very nicely. It's got a nice story to it. I like this, but I'm not sure this matches as well as maybe an earth color a little bit, more of a clay. Obviously these colors stand out, but you could also just put project library. Contact us doesn't need to have an explanation. This is sweet, so maybe you know, if you can cut that down a little bit and keep it 2 lines would be great. I'm not sure you can. And I noticed this was updated in 2019, so you might want to bring that up to date. Okay, this is your contact. Okay. All right. I like the logo and your projects. Okay. A lot of scrolling here. I mean, comparatively, since there's nothing here. All right, I've looked here. All right. Minor tweaks. Check it out on your mobile if you need to make this larger or all caps. All right. Good job. Make sure you've got plenty of padding around any boxed text and try not to have one word on a line. Try to rewrap this, okay? All right. Good job. All right. Good vibes. Hard to read this. You might have to make that larger and wrap the candles. So far, so good. Space around this box, inside the box, around the wording. If you can make it look like this, that's even better. You have shop soap, body butters, you know. This looks like it's pasted in, so you might need a little work there. Okay. All right. See if this is too small to read on your mobile. Okay. Yeah, it works here, that photo. Okay, these need to be sharper. Okay. The text needs to be very sharp, those images. It looks like maybe they were enlarged a little bit. Otherwise, everything looks pretty good. Okay. Okay. Let's trying to get into this a little quicker, about like this, all right? So cut this down a little bit, maybe to end here, edit that. And this is just a lot of room, so you may not need this header. You might just bring all this up, all right, and say Meet Chanel. Okay, great image. All right. Send these to a professional social media for yourself. All right? Okay, so it's a shop. Okay, good job. Okay, this one I'll have to double check. Okay, so moving on, we want to say right away what we're doing, what you're offering, what your service is. So productions, you want to be very short, like a word or two that says, you know, what you do. This does say productions. It could be, you know, video presentations. It could be content creation. Right. So probably something like this, videography. Okay. Visual communications, or probably videography. Try to eliminate the click here language, and I would put this in all caps, and I would probably put it in a sans serif. Okay, so it's easier to read. That's going to get really small in the grand scheme of things. Overall, I do love that you have everything aligned. I do love that. Overall, I really would like to see a little bit less text. This is not too much, but this might be pretty big for that, and this would probably need some space there. Let's see. I would bring this up a little bit. Okay. All right, so you've let us know your role in this, hopefully. You might be able to wrap this into 3 lines. So you have 4 here and 2 there. You might be able to either add another line or wrap that. Okay. Make sure all your images are optimized. Here I think you need to say, do you run a sports team instead of do run? So go through with Language Tools, Chrome's Language Tool extension, and make sure everything is right. It will catch everything for you. I'm wondering if you need this many pages. Think about that. Okay. All right. You've made it clear once they get into it. That's very nicely separated. So you could have this much here. You also, if you made it to where it was obvious, you might be able to take your home off, and we can just click here. Okay, otherwise, all caps here. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Just go through, make sure that you have the same size fonts, the same style of font. This is duplicated. It's okay. I really want to see your logo not as this big. And we talked about that, how it needs to be simplified, that there's just a lot of information here, that it almost has to be this size, and that's too big for a logo. And that's why logos are simple. Okay, so that's going to be a challenge for you. When you do that, you can put it here. All right. All right. It's a good layout though. Okay, Autumn. Logo needs to be bigger, right? Therefore, simplified, generally. I think we talked about that. Okay, let's freeze your header up here so that it doesn't overlap here, but actually it probably is frozen, but let's put a background on it. Okay, so it doesn't overlap anywhere. Okay, all right. All right, this looks a little spaced out. You could even take this out and just capitalize the we and bring it over. Take the SO out. I think your home page needs to tell us a little bit more right away of what you do. Okay, you know, photography, cinematography. Even though this may be, you know, your reel, we need to be very clear to people who aren't in the industry so they know exactly what it is. I think I would rather see this font used here, and not a big fan of italic headings. Okay. 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 This is a nice image. Okay, so when I hit contact, it's taking me back to the home page. So work on that link, all right? All right, everybody, really happy to see what you've come up with. I'm looking forward to your next iterations, and hopefully you've learned a lot by looking at everybody else's work and sharing ideas. And don't be afraid to implement that, all right? Good job.